For those who do not know, let me tell you how to send your stories. Just write it down and send it to the given email below. After that, wait for our response.
Disclaimer: to protect the sender's identity and privacy, some information will be disguised. Hopefully, the following story can bring us lessons and entertainment.
Hey, I'm Shelly, a freshman from one of the universities in Sumbawa, West Nusa Tenggara. Yep, I just got accepted to this campus. The journey was super long from my hometown, Tangerang Selatan, which required me to take an inter-island bus. It's one-of-a-kind, priceless experience for me. Oh, by the way, when I arrived here, there were about 700 people, and we were immediately directed to the dorm. After my location, that was my room. I got a room on the 4th floor with 3 other new friends from Jabodetabek, and our room was called 4A6. And that was the first time in my life being far away from home and my parents. So I hope I could adapt well in this dormitory. Because of the long journey, my body felt super tired and weak. And it's now 2:15 early in the morning. Therefore, I decided to rest and go to sleep. And the next day, I woke up and immediately cleaned up the room with my other friends. We divided the tasks, and I was assigned to sun-dry the mattresses on the balcony to prevent mold and get rid of the musty smell, since it's a dormitory. Haha. Oh, you should know, in this dormitory, each room has a balcony. When I was sun-drying the mattresses, I was surprised to see that the area around the dormitory is actually a forest. It's a view that I barely see back home. Because my area, all I can see are buildings on every corner. The good things was, I could see beautiful scenery. Lots of hills, still very natural, accompanied by the sounds of birds, so peaceful. But then I realized, it might be a bit scary at night. It'll be hard to even buy a snack unlike in the city. Well, I just try to focus on the positive side. Who knows, it might not be as scary as I imagine. Maybe a cute marsupial comes along shouting, "Hooba, hooba!" Anyway, instead of daydreaming here, I decided to go back to the room. Since classes don't start for another week, I have to be smart about how I spend my time. It's nice to refresh my body and mind before classes. So, in the afternoon after Asr prayer, the 4 of us decided to play Uno. Luckily, my friend Dita brought it from home. While playing, we had instant noodles together, so we didn't need to look for food outside. While we were having fun and everything looked normal, out of nowhere, the wardrobe door opened by itself. It was really tight. The door had to be wedged with paper in it to close it properly. We're all surprised and look at each other in the room, wondering how it could open by itself. My friend had to muster up the courage to close it again and saying, "Must have been the wind. Let's continue playing." Eventually, we resumed playing, but not long after, the wardrobe door opened again. The friend who closed it earlier ran away first and shouted, "Andrit!" Suddenly, the fun atmosphere turned scary. It triggered us. Without needing to signal each other, we all ran towards the corridor. FYI, on each floor, there's a security guard, or more like a dormitory supervisor, because the guards are also students. But our seniors, by the way, for our floor, the guard's name is Sabil. So, because we were running around aimlessly and making a lot of noise, we were finally approached by the Hello Kitty. The security, and asking what's going on here. And we told her everything that happened in our room. Sabil nodded in understanding. "Oh, I see. Don't worry. Must have been the wind. Go back to your room. It's almost sunset anyway." Sabil tried to calm us all down. As for me, I still tried to think positively. I was scared because my friend got triggered. That's why I ran along with them. I was actually brave. Just kidding. In the end, we all went back into the room. My friend, who was still scared, tried to act brave. When we entered the room, she shouted, "Assalamualaikum!" really loudly. She said Assalamualaikum to every corner of the room. I found it funny, you know. I was worried that someone might actually respond with Waalaikumsalam. That would be troublesome. Time flew by, and it was already 11 at night. My friend and I were getting ready to sleep, but all of us could barely sleep because the lights were still on. It turned out Dita isn't used to sleep in the dark, so we discussed it. I said, just turn off the lights, it's safe. Tomorrow, I'll let you use my skincare, I promise. And everyone responded to that. All of them went along and asked for the same thing. They only agree when I mention skincare. Anyway, my seduction worked. The light finally went out and everyone fell asleep. I prayed that I would dream about Jimin from BTS. A bit of a stretch, right? In the midst of our deep sleep, suddenly there was a very loud noise. Brook, like the sounds of a falling suitcase. We're all startled and automatically woke up. And quickly we turned on the light. And we looked, there was nothing there. Dita, who was initially brave, was now trembling in fear. Ooh, what was that? I'm scared. I want to go home. I tried to think positively. Maybe something fell, but all of our belongings were in their place. And the sound was so loud. What could it have been? I didn't want to join the panic. I tried to stay calm so my mind wouldn't wander and make the situation even worse. We all tried to calm Dita down, even though we were all scared, especially since this happened exactly at midnight. In the end, we all decided to go to Sabi's room together to tell her about what happened. With a sense of dread, we opened the door to the room. Creak! The sounds of the old, rusty door made us got goosebumps. Unfortunately, the corridor was in a spooky darkness. Even though there was lights, it didn't reduce the creepy feeling. Because we felt unsure about going out, we decided to postpone telling Sabil until tomorrow and return to calm ourselves down in the room. After a few minutes of calming down, we started to feel sleepy and finally decided to sleep with the lights on. I, who was feeling sleepy, started to doze off. But as soon as my eyes closed, I heard footsteps going up and down the stairs. I didn't misheard, did I? I wanted to check if my friends were still awake, but I got too scared. So I forced myself to keep my eyes closed and try to sleep. Dook, 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 dook. The sound of footsteps was really disturbing, and I'm sure it wasn't just one person, but a lot of footsteps that I heard. When I tried to bravely open my eyes, it turns out my roommates were all awake in their beds. Everyone on the top bunks came down. We hugged each other and prayed. I recited every prayer I knew, even the prayer before meals, because I was so desperate to recite any prayer. That night felt so long. We haven't even started classes yet, but the challenges, oh my. In the end, my friends and I couldn't sleep at all until morning came. We only managed to sleep when the dawn call to prayer sounded. The next day, we felt exhausted and unwell, probably because of the lack of sleep. At first, my friends and I wanted to tell Sabil about all of this, but on that day, we didn't meet her at all. It turned out she was busy at the campus handling the orientation program. Finally, we decided not to tell anyone because we were worried it would make others scared and create an uneasy atmosphere. Since my roommates and I were feeling sick, they all decided to rest for a nap. But I chose to join the orientation program. Even though my body didn't feel good, I would get bored just lying down in the room, honestly. Whew, so tiring. That afternoon, I was hungry and decided to look for snacks at the dormitory canteen. After eating, feeling full and content, I returned to the room. When I opened the door, I was shocked to see my 3 friends laying dead stiff. I swear, even a dry sponge isn't this stiff. I don't know why, but I was sure they seemed like they wanted to move but couldn't, and all their eyes were closed. My feelings were all over the place. I forced them all to wake up with all my strength and shouting,
"Hey, wake up! Wake up! Reciting istighfar!"
Their eyes open, but they were staring blankly. I was actually scared, but could I really leave my roommates like that? And finally, they woke up almost out of breath, sweating profusely and scared. They told me they felt like they were being pressed down or suffocated. Crazy, right? In a broad daylight, my friends were already being disturbed by spirits, and it happened at the same time. Meanwhile, something was suddenly thrown towards the bed. Bam! I was shocked to see that it was the Quran. Astaghfirullah! I was really scared. I couldn't believe what I'd just seen. Then Nita screamed as if possessed, pointing upward towards the wardrobe, shouting, "Go away! Leave!" My other friends tried to calm Nita down and took her out of the room. Without wasting time, I ran to find Sabil, and my 3 friends followed, including Dita, who looked pale. In the end, we told Sabil about all these horror incidents. Sabil was shocked to hear this story and tried to calm us down with all her good advice. Try to recite the Quran in your room, call the azan to every corner, and I'll call someone to expel the spirit. Don't forget to recite your prayer, okay? In short, my room was cleansed with the help of several religious elders, and all the jinns were expelled. According to them, our room needed to be cleansed. Alhamdulillah, we haven't experienced that disturbance again. My friends and I lived and grew well there. It didn't feel like a year had passed. Finally, my time at this dormitory came to an end, and I decided to rent a place with my other roommates. Goodbye, haunted dormitory! Hahaha. My advice is, if you move into a new place that has been vacant for a while, it's a good idea to perform a room cleansing. Why? Because not only humans can be cleansed, but also houses and rooms too, guys. And this is super effective for expelling troublesome spirits. At least for me and my roommates, cleansing the room is a really effective way to get rid of disturbing ghosts.
Interesting. So, are you sure you are watching this alone? Should you like this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to Spill the Beans channel.